Okay, I should actually get me another coffee before going into this, but it's all good. It's all good. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. Today is Sunday, and so I'm just relaxing before Monday hits. Because that's when things get crazy busy. But anyway, you guys don't care. Be sure to join the Discord, like I said, down in the description box below. I got this Ask Her Snowy question, and it says, so my spouse and I are trying to pay off our house and rent the house in the next 5 years in Denver/Aurora. Right now, our three-bedroom house is worth $530,000 in the great suburban area with lots of builds. We are thinking it might be worth at least $600,000 in 5 years, and currently it could rent for $3,100 to $3,300 a month. What would be the cost on average for a condo or town two-bedroom? I guess they mean townhouse two-bedroom, the Tacoma area. Rent first, not own right away. I will be 49, weird to say, and she'll be 53, and we are both in mental health. She's a nurse with a plan to drop to part-time for traveling and exploring. In Denver, we average about $180,000 to $200,000 a year in our industry. What would be a good area? Not interested in keeping up with the Joneses, but an area that is cool, good breweries, food, walkable, and stuff for a mature couple to enjoy. I am taking a 3-week solo trip in August, so getting an idea of places to check out in the Northwest besides Eugene that I really like too. Thanks. Really great. I can't even talk. Really great question. So here's the thing. If you're wanting to move in the next 5 years, because right now everything that you're mentioning, you would do fine here in Tacoma. Because if you sell your house and it's $530,000 there, you could probably move here and get a house that would be decent in Tacoma. And what do I mean by that is that you probably would be able to get a comparable type of home here that doesn't need a whole lot of work done on it. Right? It's really super turnkey. You can just walk right in, move your stuff in, not a problem. Right? You may want to change out a wall color or something like that, but it's not anything that's troubling, right? But you're saying in 5 years. In 5 years, and the people who now live here get it. In 5 years, I've been in this house for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. And bruh. I'm just being honest. Woo! Like, you can't even compare the market when I came in to versus now. Like, you really get a beating at this point trying to get into the housing market right now. And so you're thinking 5 years from now? I don't know the answer to that. And I'm being honest, I don't really know the answer. I used to could give you a pretty good estimation and say, this is kind of what's going to happen. This is probably what you should worry about, or the home prices are increasing year over year and they're doing this. But as long as you're, making this amount of money and you can move in, not a problem. Now you're making pretty good money, right? Making $180,000, $200,000, that's not a problem, right? In your industries and stuff like that. That's great. And I'll answer the bottom part of this too, because you wanted to know what would be a walkable area. I would say Proctor would be a good area because the things you're looking for is going to be in that general spot. Ruston would be probably a great area. Old Town. All of these would be great places for you. That would be cool. Breweries, food, walkable, all of that type of thing. The Ruston, Proctor, Old Town, those would be what I would go for, right? Stadium District, maybe. That would be what I would be looking at if it were me. I'd be looking in those areas, right? If you're looking for those particular type of activity, right? So I would give that a shot. And there's a lot of things to do there. There's farmers markets. There's tons of stuff. We took my be sure to join the Discord down in the description box below. The kids are going to be loud because they're playing the Wii. Now, even though we have a Nintendo Switch, I'll get back on this. It's a tangent. Even though we have a Nintendo Switch and we have a PlayStation, new PlayStation, they want to get on the Wii, which has only one remote working. The other one just doesn't want to hold a charge. And they're playing all these old games, which are you can tell the graphics are not that great anymore. Like looking back, it's like, yeah, they're not that great. It was the bomb back in the day, but we have a ton of games and all these little gadgets and things back when Nintendo wasn't trying to rip you off in terms of price. Nowadays, it's expensive like a mug. Every game super crazy expensive. We got the Ring Fit, which is pretty cool and all that stuff, but yeah, it's expensive anyway. So if you hear noise, a lot of noise and them screaming and laughing and all that, it's because of that. But anyway, getting back to this. That would be what I would suggest as far as places to live. There's a few other areas that might be kind of what you're looking at, but there's downtown, of course, obviously, and there's different areas within downtown. You can pretty much go over there close to McMenamins, which is the St. Helens neighborhood, I believe. That would be a good one to possibly look at as far as neighborhoods go. That's walkable, breweries, all of that. Keep in mind too, it's not necessarily a lot of townhomes in that general area that you're looking for, but where the Tacoma Town Center, which there's news about that facility, that would be a location because you're right there in the brewery district. So that's more apartment style. And I get that you would like to basically have a condo or 2-bedroom in the Tacoma area and that you're looking for that. I would not necessarily suggest any other place other than Tacoma if what you're looking for, because some of these other nearby cities aren't going to have, they're not going to be either walkable, or if they are walkable like Puyallup, you're not going to have a whole lot of breweries. Puyallup's another area I would definitely take a look at, like their downtown area is pretty cute. I'd take a look at that if I were you, but generally what you're looking for in terms of just walkability, and you can literally go from Stadium District down into downtown, catch a show at one of the theaters, something like that, like a play or something. Then you want to go to McMenamins and just kind of vibe out, which is, if you're a person my age, I'm 42, 43, slipped an age. I'm 43. So if you're talking like mid 30s up to whatever age, McMenamins is like a playground. To be honest with you, you got all those floors, tons of stuff to do. It's like a playground. People younger than that go there too, but it's mainly people with a little bit more. And once you get a little bit older, you get a little bit more, right? That's kind of that type of place. So that would be what I would suggest. So what you're looking for, I don't think is a problem. And you're saying you could rent $3,100 to $3,300 a month. I don't think that's a problem that you're going to have here right now and even next year. But after that, I don't know. Because there was a time when renting an apartment here was like easy. Not a problem, not a big deal. Now, there's a lot of luxury apartment builders and a lot of luxury loft builders and all that type of stuff. The city's changing drastically. And the apartment rental stuff wasn't that big of a deal. Now you are better off renting a home, if you can find one, than anything else. It used to not be the case. But you're better off renting a home than trying to rent a townhome or a condo or an apartment, because all of those are going to be so darn expensive, and they're going to be harder to find in the locations that you need. See, here's the problem with Tacoma. Unlike Denver and Seattle and Portland and all these other places, we're behind the game when it comes to housing development. Now, some people would argue that those places are too, to a degree, but we're really behind. So the number of townhomes and condos, you'll find them a dime a dozen in Seattle. Not a problem, but they're crazy expensive. Here, we don't have a lot of that. That's just available. We just don't. Like, you won't be able to even find a townhome Forget the price. You won't even be able to find one, or a condo. As soon as they come online, boom, someone gets them. Any house that goes online, someone hops right on it. So it's very, very hard. Now, there are people who understand that the markup is insane whenever you try to do Airbnbs, that will have condos and townhouses, and they will rent those out potentially. But they know that they can really pull some money in on Airbnbs, and so you'll have a lot of those. So it is a very tight market. We're speaking as of 2021. When you're wanting to move here in 2026, yeah, like, I don't think folks quite understand this region here is growing. Like, that's an understatement. Like, it's really growing. I don't think you're going to be able to easily move in like you think. It just isn't like that. We're growing faster than even Portland. Like, it's just here in Tacoma, it's on fire. And in some degree, yeah, Seattle has more construction going on, but like, just the rapid rate that we're growing is faster than even Seattle in many respects. So they can't build fast enough or get things approved fast enough to actually do much. So I don't know how possible it's going to be in 5 years. It could be. It could be. It could be. Um, let's see. So right now it's worth 3 bedroom at 530. It'll be worth 600,000 in 5 years. You think? So here's the problem. You're saying your house will be worth about 600,000 in 5 years. Oh, and you're saying that you could possibly rent it for 3,100 to 3,300. I see now. I read that wrong. I thought you were looking for a place here for that amount that you could rent. But let's say you're home. Let's say you sold it at 600,000 or 620. Okay, in Denver. Let's say you sold it for 620. Here, the average price for a home is going to be well beyond that in 5 years, more than likely. The median price. I wrote something down, someone on Discord, which is a very helpful. I didn't even expect the success of my Discord channel to be that great, but it's the people that are on it that make it what it is, honestly. But somebody put up some facts. I don't know if I can find it, but they put up some stats about Tacoma and all these other things and the median house price. I don't even know what the median price is any longer. And it's hard to even pinpoint it because it just changes so quickly. It used to be you could say something in January and it would hold firm all the way until, and then say something again until in the summer. And, that would ride the rest of the year. So the averages were on point. Now, starting this year, a little bit of last year, that's not the case. You just, it swings so quick. It's like the stock market, except, it's gaining, not failing like what my stocks are. My portfolio is trash at this point. But anyway, so here it keeps jumping. It keeps jumping. So the last I checked, it was 500,000 on average. The median was a little over five something. Someone posted something up on Discord the other day, and I believe it said it was like five. God, let me look it up. I don't want to lie. And that just shows you, just in a matter of a couple of weeks, it changes. Now, changes like that, mad swings like that, make me think of a possible bubble. I will say that. It makes me think of a possible bubble. Let me pull this up and see. I don't know if it's speculation at this point, to be honest with you. In Seattle, it was pretty easy. You can look at telltale signs and, okay, that's speculation going in. And there will be a big, strong correction. And that's a healthy way of handling it, because if there's a correction, then basically people are not really losing out a lot, right? I may have a house and I want to sell it for $1.2 million. It may be only worth $1 million, and people are really speculating. They're like, yeah, 1.2, I can definitely do it. And then all of a sudden they realize that, the market is suggesting that these houses really are being way over inflated. So the market will self-correct, right? So then you're like, yeah, I'm brought back down to earth. I can sell it for a little over $1 million, right? But a bubble means you lose a lot. When it pops, you lose a lot. Now, are we on a possible bubble? I don't know. Let me see. Uh, I forgot. Had to sign out of it the other day because I work from this. And so Noel was even contributing. There were so many dings going on. I was like, what's going on? And I had a meeting and all I heard was ding, 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 ding. So I had to sign out of it. But let me go. I even had to create a housing channel just because there is such a crazy amount of information about housing here. It's such a huge point. Let me see if I can. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So I don't know. Let me take a look at this. I should have asked him. I don't know where he's pulling this from. I know where he's pulling it from, but I don't know if it's talking about Tacoma or not. I I don't know. I'm assuming it does just based on the median closing price. The median closed price, this is from the Northwest Multiple Listing Service. The median closed price for a home here is $565,000. Okay. The median closed price for residential homes and condos increased 25% from April 2020. So from April 2020 up till April 2021, it increased 25%, the closed price. Now here's what you need to understand. I list a house for $500,000. And normally a person can come in and say, you know what about $495? And sometimes people will say, okay, $495, not a problem. And then once you do all the closing and everything, you get a certain price. Okay. Here, you may list it for $500,000, but someone will say, you know what, I'm not going to even mess around with these other people that are trying to sit here and bid and bid and bid. I'm going to give you $550. You said 500. Let me give you an extra 50 grand on that. And these other people are back here with their little offers that they're offering. And you're going to say, okay, I'll take that. 550, cool. Let's do it. Put in all the closing costs and what have you and everything. Everything finishes. And that is what's happening. So here, so even though the average price here is like 520 something like that, that's the average price. The median close price is about 565. Now this is based on the Northwest Multiple Listing Service. This isn't Herschel stats. That's where we are right now. Then when you look at the months of inventory, a balanced market is considered to be 4 to 6 months by most industry experts. 4 to 6 months worth of inventory is what they consider as a balanced market, meaning that you have some give and take. That if you have a home for sale, that basically any of the potential buyers will sit there and make requests of you. You know, I noticed that there's a cracked window. I noticed that there's a little bit of, the kitchen's outdated, or, the roof, probably will need some replacing. So instead of you wanting to sell this house for $300,000, how about we give you $280? And then the seller's like, dang, I've only had like 2 people inquire. This other person didn't really do much, and this person's wanting $280. Okay. And then, of course, obviously the inspection's done. They come back with a few different things, and you're like, okay, that's a healthy market, because then you have negotiation between the two. Not here. Here, it is a seller's empire. So they ain't got to offer you jack. If a person says, hey, I want to do an inspection, it's like, that's cute, but nobody else is asking for that. People are buying sight unseen. So why would I mess with you and you want an inspection? You can do that, but I'm not going to necessarily waste my time. And you have houses selling out literally in a day. You can list it in the morning, it's already gone by afternoon. And for it to even sit on the market for a few days is considered strange. You can find a house that's just crappy on the inside and it's selling like just trash. and it's selling. So in April 2020, we had 1.75 months of inventory. So almost, it's a quarter away from 2 months of inventory back in April. Now it's 0.64. So that gives you that gives you an idea. It's not even a month's worth of inventory at all. That's in April of 2021. So in just 1 year, 1.75 to 0.64. That's what we have right now. At the current rate of sales, it would take 0.64 months to sell every home that is active in the inventory. The decrease is almost 64%. The amount of homes available now is almost 64% difference from 2020, April of 2020. And so that's just 1 year. We're talking 5 years out. Who the hell knows what's going to look like at that point? Like, honestly, I remember folks telling me, I'll be there in a couple of years. And it's like, okay, but it's getting tight. The average is around 380 or so. It's getting tight. Those days are over. They're over. The people who bought homes, I remember there was a guy up in Seattle who said, they bought a home right as the downturn happened back in the day. Right? They had moved here a couple of years before we did. So they got in right at the end of that and got a great deal. Now they're sitting back laughing. They're sitting back laughing because their house is just ballooned in price. Up in Seattle, it's insane. Here, there are people who bought we bought in 2017? Something like that. There are people who bought in 2014 who are just sitting back laughing. Yeah, they're sitting back laughing. This was back when people would trash Tacoma and talk all this mess. And there are people who bought a house back in 2014 for nothing. And they're sitting back laughing. I'm not trying to laugh at the situation. It sucks for a lot of people. But there are people who just sitting back just like, looking around like, thank you, kissing their house, saying this house is worth a tremendous amount. I have a ton of equity. And I bought when people said, don't buy there. And I remember when I was looking for homes here, and you had people who were from Seattle just snickering and laughing. Oh, why would you do that? That's just silly. Tacoma, huh? Oh. And yet the value of our homes here, while it's not what it is up in Seattle, the growth of prices here are moving up pretty quick, much faster than they did in Seattle. Are we getting close to a potential bubble? There's no indication of that yet, but it concerns me when they're leaping that quick, like really leaping that quick. I mean, heck, at the start of January, homes were not 500,000 on average here. Now look at it. The median price was not 500,000. But now look at it. So it's just, that concerns me. And it could be, again, like what happened in Seattle when that same thing happened where they were just leaping. That's a correction. Something tells me, though, looking at the stats, though, it would just take 0.64 months. Not even a month, bro. You're talking 3 weeks. And maybe 3 weeks. And then basically every single home that's active is gone. I mean, that's the situation. So I don't know about Denver. Denver can expand out a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Like the homes there can expand out quite a bit. You have other towns and things like that can do that. Here, nope. Not gonna happen. So we can't really build out as much. There are property developers, don't get me wrong. There are people who are building homes, and they're out in Orting and Spanaway and different places. They're building homes, but to build a home takes a while. And those homes are still going to be expensive, crazy expensive. And so it's not relieving the pressure. Most of the development that's happening now should have happened 5 years ago in order to try to get ahead of what's going on now. Everybody focused on Seattle, and now Seattle is not doing so hot. It's still doing great, but it's not like what it was. And now all of those people are flooding down here because they don't want to pay a lot of the taxes that are going on up there. Income tax, kind of, basically, is what that is. The state of Washington doesn't have an income tax, but you in King County, they're kind of making you do that. So even if you move your company to Bellevue, you're still going to eventually be paying somewhat of an income tax. See what I'm saying? So folks are saying, why would I want to be in this mess when I can just move down there and work down here? That's why now it's called Tacoma instead of Tacompton, which was what people made fun of the city of and laughed and pointed and said, ew, that's Tacompton. That's ghetto. Now they're calling it Tacoma because a lot of tech companies are either starting down here, moving to here, some from California coming here, some that started up in Seattle, a lot of them moving down here, small ones. They're able to grow, do whatever they need to. Now you have venture capitalists that are down here too. It's changing because they're like, there's a lot of different things down here that's not what you're seeing up in Seattle so much. And there's plenty of room to grow. It's a blank slate. There's a ton of room to grow. And if you get in first, before the big giants possibly come, then you're good to go. Then there's speculation that a satellite office of a big company is coming here. So now you have property developers that are like, yeah, I want to jump in as quick as I can because I want to be there right for that. You have the town center that has stalled to some degree, but you have a equity firm that's like, please, city, let me please approve this so that we can build this as quickly as possible. It's going to take 20 months. I saw some of the renderings of what they're hoping to do. This new Galinda Equity, whatever, out of Idaho. I think they're out of Idaho. But they're wanting to get this done quickly because they know that there's soon to be potentially an announcement. Now, is that speculation? Am I helping with that speculation part? Yeah. But that's what I'm told. And that's what happens. People that are in the real estate industry are like, well, this is what we're told. This is what we're expecting. This is what we think. And so that's what happens. People buy. It's a buying frenzy. So yeah, I think that in 5 years, if that is what your goal is to move here, I would technically start looking now because you have to really understand the market and understand the area. And it's good that you're going to be on a 3-week solo trip in August. I would spend a lot of time in those areas. I would check out the brewery district, and it doesn't look that great. It doesn't look that great, but you have to think of long game. This is what happened in Hilltop. Hilltop is getting gentrified like crazy. And there were people who bought houses there 5 years ago for like $120,000 right there on the light rail line. And people said, you're stupid. You're buying in an area that's been notoriously, gangster. And why would you do that? That's crazy. That's stupid. And those people invested in their house, remodeled the outside, because instead of spending a huge chunk of money up in Seattle, they took what they've been saving up and saving up and saving up for. They said they had $250,000. They bought their house, probably paid it outright, did all the remodels, and the houses stand out. You can go through Hilltop now and you see these houses that really stand out because they look very, very, very remodeled on the outside. And that's because a lot of people got in early when people were saying, ew. Now, you can't hardly find a house in Hilltop, and it's expensive. You see what I'm saying? Like, they got in right at the right time when people were saying, ew. And other people moved to Tacoma when other people were saying, don't do it. You see what I'm saying? And now you're having a bit of an exodus out of Seattle, a noticeable exodus, to where the stats that the city's looking at are saying like, okay, this is a problem in the wrong direction. Like, people are moving out. More people are moving out than coming in. There are still people coming in quite a bit, but it's also bleeding people too. And a lot of those are heading over to Bellevue and heading away from Seattle, right? I'm not trashing Seattle. It's a great city, but they're moving. The facts are a lot of people are moving out of that. And so they end up coming down here. They're going over to Bellevue, the ones that can afford to do it in other places. And some are skipping King County altogether because they're afraid of higher property taxes and higher taxes in general and all of that. It's different. Pierce County is a completely different animal. So people are skipping past Canton, Federal Way, and Kirkland and all these other places because Renton. You're like, I want to go to Renton. That's cool, but you got to be paying Renton property tax. And these other places, it's going to be it's based on what the county says, and then the city, right? So you have all these different things that are not working well for that area because they're trying to help. It's basically to help Seattle. Basically all these other. If you look at King County, these are facts. Even Bellevue. If you look at all these cities that are in King County, Bellevue included, they're being leveraged to help pay for Seattle's issues. These are facts. So a lot of people are saying, I don't really want to do that. I'd rather go up to Snohomish County. Look at Everett. The prices of homes up there are just stupid. Much more than what they were down here. We were almost even. I mean, still Everett had a little bit of a lead on us, but man, they shot through the roof. So now people are saying, I can't even go up north. It's too expensive. I got to go down south. Soon here, it's going to be the same thing. So getting to your question here, I would say the condos and townhouses are going to start happening more and more over the next few years. Absolutely. But a lot of those are going to be swallowed up. And I tell folks, if you're wanting to live here, the best thing to do, and this is what I told my sister when she was claiming she wanted to live here a few years ago, is the best thing to do is if you want to buy a house, and it seems like you want to possibly buy one, you want to first you want to rent and then you want to buy one. What I would do is do what you're doing. Definitely come here, scout it out, find the areas of the city that you really and truly love quite a bit, that really draw you, and focus on those areas. Get a realtor. That's extremely important. Don't just get a basic realtor that's not going to do much. Get one that's all they do. Literally, from the time they wake up to in the middle of the night, they're dreaming about selling real estate. That's the person that you want. And there are a few. Get those. The ones that our realtor literally would hop over a fence to check on a house. No, I'm not joking. There was a lady. She didn't care. Whatever it took to see, get information, because we were like, we're up in Seattle. Can you take a look? Hop in a fence, do whatever she needs to do, take a look. Yeah. You have to have someone who's ultra aggressive, not super, but ultra aggressive. Because if you have someone that's just you have to check in on them to see what's going on, you're going to lose. And unfortunately, a lot of people have realtors like that. You have to have a realtor that's a go-getter, that's really just hitting it constantly. You have some realtors that don't even accept any more clients too much. They focus on just a few of the specialty type homes, the homes that are north of $1 million or close to $1 million and up. They don't even worry about these others. They're like, just leave that for everybody else. All these other realtors, I'm focusing on these higher tiers. You have a lot of those, right? It depends on what you're looking for, but find a good realtor. Have all your ducks in a row, paperwork, money on hand. And people say, how much money do I need? I would say you need at least, if you're wanting to make a big splash, you're probably going to need at least a good $50,000, $60,000 in cash. Yep. Easy to make a big splash and make a difference, at least $50,000, $60,000, and you still may not even, and that's not counting the home escalation price. That's not counting that. But in order to not be so thrown off, there are people who make really good money and then they come here and they get humbled because it's like, yeah, that's good money, $180,000, $200,000, that's great money. But then when you are up against other people, it's like, damn, I can't, like, really? It's that hard? Like, really? It's pretty hard. It's really, really hard because you have some people who make $80,000 a year, but they've been saving up since they've been 20 years old, or 25, and now they're my age. They've been saving up. So now they have $500,000 in cash, and they say, I'll take that house. It doesn't matter how much you got that you're making. Doesn't matter. If you don't have that to compete in certain circumstances, you're losing out. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. Or everything's good to go, but you have a realtor that's just not pulling their weight. They're too busy with too many different fires. Realtors, one of the industries here that we need a lot of, not only beyond doctors, we need a lot more doctors than what we have. We need more nurses than what we have. We need a lot of everything, more school teachers than what we have, but we also need a lot more realtors. There's just not enough. To be honest with you, there's just not enough. So you see a lot of that. Not enough insurance companies or like insurance brokers. There's just the region by itself is growing so fast. There's not enough people to get into certain jobs. We just don't have enough. And then those people get hired and they get brought in, but then they're like, I can't find nothing. I have a job starting up in a month, but I can't find a place to live. So you may not be able to get that condo or townhouse. You may have to settle for an apartment. And I know what you're looking for. You're looking for something where it's like condo specs, where you don't have to hear people up and above and below and next to you and all that. You're looking for that, right? Because they're built differently. You won't be able to hear your neighbor. But it may be a circumstance where you have to go the apartment route and you're going to be hearing everything in order for you to get the house that you want. It may be that you end up in a nearby suburb and not necessarily Tacoma. There's a little bit more flexibility there. Anyhow, hope I answered your question. Make sure you join the Discord down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.